Pod and Chill. This is the Cliffs of Insanity edition. I'm Heidi Sigmund Kuda, and I'm here with my favorite co-hosts in the whole wide world, Jim Stewartson and High Fidelity. And usually on Thursday nights, we try to do a little recap of our previous episode. And I think we're going to do some of that because we had President Jackie Singh, my future boss, on, and it was amazing. I just was re-listening to it. If you haven't seen it, please have a listen. And yeah, nails are done, feeling all right. And yeah.
What color do we have this evening?
What color is it?
This is Sky-Fi, and it's metallic, and I love it. It's part of my metallic collection because I'm feeling very Metallica. I'm actually feeling very social distortion right now.
Sky-Fi.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Heidi, you and I have to have a talk.
What'd I do?
I just, there are things in a man's life that people shouldn't try to take away from him.
What'd I do?
Shouldn't take, and I feel as a man that I have every right in the world to say, hey, Chris Meloni, nice ass.
Okay, no, I'm going to tell that story. Chris Meloni has been one of my allies for years. Every now and then I look down and he's retweeted me or quote tweeted me. It's a big deal that he retweeted Jim Stewartson in the middle of the shitstorm that we're in. And what does Hi-Fi do? He says, nice ass. Like, Hi-Fi, okay? Like, he does. I mean, there's no denying that Chris Meloni has a gorgeous derriere, but that is not how we want to make our introductions. I've been slowly,
I think he puts a lot of work and a lot of effort into it, and I think he should be recognized for it. So, bravo, sir.
In the words of Dumb and Dumber, he must work out.
Hi-Fi's not wrong about this. He's not wrong about this. He's wrong about a lot of stuff, but this is not a thing he's wrong about.
This is not one.
Yeah.
So
I would like to mention, I don't like the whole, somebody tweeted me or whatever. That's usually not my thing, but I will mention that 4-star General Michael Hayden retweeted a video of Mike Flynn talking about all the countries that he has overthrown in his military career, which the general said, I would like a word, please, meaning you're not supposed to say that shit out loud, bro. So that was good, and it's good news that the general is retired and has been for a long time, but former director of the CIA, 4-star general, probably has a few calls from time to time.
Yeah, he's the former head of a couple of 3-letter agencies, and he has 4 stars.
That's more than Mike.
He has 4 stars.
That's one more than Mike. It's the same as Charlie, which is fucked up.
Well,
by the way, Charlie should have 0 stars along with his brother. There should be no stars in the Flynn family. They have 7 too many stars in the Flynn family. That's all I have.
The Flynn family, hold on. The Flynn family needs to lose so many fucking stars that Miss Miller in 2nd grade spelling bee contest takes fucking Mikey's little gold stars off his test. That's how many stars they need to lose.
Dude, they need negative stars. How do you take
black holes? Black holes.
The star shaped black hole.
I would like to point.
Black hole is a star. Sorry, Heidi.
No, it's cool, man. You guys are This is Rad Pod. This is Rad Pod and Chill. We just this is.
Be careful. I'll be accused of being a terrible person. I have to be careful.
Jim, by who? By terrible people? Don't worry about it, man. I know.
It's just funny. They like to clip things, and I got.
Well, that's selective editing.
Slightly annoyed once, and they're like, "Whoa, look,
Jim's figured out."
Well, in your defense and in my defense, you're on a roll and you need to finish your thought. And in my defense, I cut you off all the time because I'm worried like I'm going to forget whatever thought might be fleeting.
We're boomers. We're old. Sorry. Fucking deal with it.
You know what? I might be like the final. I might be like the first year Gen X. I'm like on that border somewhere. You know.
No, I think you're south of the border. You're not actually a boomer. But
actually, no. I might be the last year. I might be the last year. Yeah. No. Seriously. No. But guys. I think it's worth noting that 4-star General, ex-head of the CIA, and I want to say like it's another 3-letter, like NSA or something. I got to look it up.
NSA, CIA,
yeah,
NSA.
So, yeah. So he also retweeted high fidelity, and I don't think it's just like random acts. You know, I think that there is an awareness of the content that we are putting out, and and so I think that's really good. More importantly, though, let's just talk about my T-shirt.
That's a nice T-shirt.
I can't
read it. Oh, social distortion, right on.
It's social D. Yeah,
I mean,
very much.
Here's the thing. I mean, social distortion used to be a really like edgy kind of a term, right? Now it's just
don't you do
all
it.
Day.
Don't you do it.
I'm not ragging on social distortion. Calm down. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. This is mommy's little.
I'm saying that our whole social is distorted.
Yes. You weren't talking about the music. No.
Oh, you were going with a double entendre. I thought you were going for a.
Let me just say, this is mommy's little monster, and you will see that there is a mushroom cloud on the television as the skeleton people look on, and I just think it's a very prescient shirt and a good shirt of the moment. Let's talk a little bit about Tennessee. I really feel like Brother Jones's quote about how they wanted to ban, guns, and instead they banned democracy was very astute. And I know, Jim, you've been paying attention to that. What say you?
First of all, the two Justins, Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, like they did this full Obi-Wan Kenobi. You have no idea how powerful you made these people, guys. Like the Tennessee GOP is like there were 3 Democrats that are getting their duly elected office stripped from them. Yeah. The white lady gets saved by 1 vote, and the 2 incredible young black men get taken from their office that they were just fucking elected for. What the fuck country is this? That's a thing that you don't do in America, especially when it's about free speech. It's literally what the First Amendment means. All you whiny trolls talking about your First Amendment rights, none of that shit matters. First Amendment is about the government taking away your free speech rights. That's what it's about. This is unconstitutional in every possible way. And a blatant racist, authoritarian move that they're trying to put in our face. And so what I think is very important is that we take the opposite lesson from this and raise up the 2 Justins like fucking crazy and tell these fascists where they can put their fucking unconstitutional behavior. Thank you for coming.
So I think Jim, Hi-Fi and I earlier this week did a breaking news special out of Florida, out of Tallahassee, because the Democratic leaders of Tallahassee were arrested for peacefully protesting. And so again, we talk about chaos and destabilization events. We talk about distraction, events of demoralization. I do think that what we will see is a mobilization. I think you're seeing a mobilization of young people in Tennessee who aren't having this. I think you're absolutely right that it's the Streisand effect. These gentlemen are going to be freaking rock stars and be able to really actually build a movement based on this type of authoritarian maneuvering. And again, these are what Hi-Fi calls the escalation of desperation. These are moves that are born out of weakness, not out of strength. They don't have the numbers. They see that their leader is awaiting his next indictment, and so these are punk ass moves, which are to be expected by a authoritarian right party that is increasingly desperate, in my opinion.
Can I just say something? Hold on. No, my turn.
Okay, calm down. Jesus.
My turn.
Calm down.
Well,
I have something nice to say, but that's okay. You go ahead.
All right. Well, I did some dabs. I did some dabs before the show, and I'm about to get really blowed. So, here's the thing. Mr. Andrew Farmer from Tennessee today thought he could give one of the Justins a dressing down there on the floor of the Tennessee legislature.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say, Mr. Farmer, A, you've completely screwed your political career moving forward. And B, he gave off such immense principle from the Breakfast Club vibes with the mess with the bull, you get the horns, fucking boomer talk bullshit. Anyone who takes Andrew Farmer from Tennessee seriously moving forward, you like the high school principal in the Breakfast Club. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Excellent.
I just wanted to say one thing. Listen, we cover a lot of terrible shit on this show. Yeah. But the silver lining for me for today, despite the fact that this political lynching is happening in the fucking open, is that these two like immensely talented young men are just like there. Like, holy shit, we need more visibility into talented young leaders. Listen to me. What we need are leaders. Stop. We got to stop being so fucking tired and feckless and bored about everything. We need leaders, and it's not coming from old fuckers like me. It's going to come from young people like that. Our job as the old fuckers, to the extent that the listeners are old fuckers, is to support them, find them, support the shit out of them, give them money, go canvas for them. We need to build this next generation because that's what this is all about. The only reason I'm doing this is for them. So we got to help. We got to help defend them, and we got to fucking defeat these bastards who are doing shit like that to the two Justins.
Yeah.
You know what else we should do? Arrest Mike Flynn.
Oh. I'm
tangentially related. This is local action has a national impact. That's
sure.
Well played. Before you get too Hi-Fi, can you see if we have any clips from Jackie?
I got 2 clips from Jackie.
Oh, fantastic.
I got the first one and I got the second one.
I'm just going to set it up. The first one that I asked you to cut. So I just want to set it up real fast. Our previous episode had Jackie Singh. She's a cybersecurity expert, InfoSec talent, who was on the Biden campaign as a lead cyber threat analyst. She knows a lot. She was on the internet way too young and has been enmeshed in this world for a very long time. She really offered people inoculation advice for this cyber war. So let's roll that first clip. Por favor.
Was that the engagement one?
It was the one that would be lower in numbers. I don't care which one you
all right, I'll just roll one and let's see what happens.
And the dab took over.
I just started, man.
Engagement is the name of the game and what a lot of people are looking for, right? stops you from quote tweeting things, which bring traffic to people that are bad actors, right? Gets you to consider, maybe I'll take a screenshot and put an X over it with my photo editor before posting it so that people know that's not my opinion. And I don't think it's a good opinion. And if they scroll past my feed, they're going to see that X and they're going to extra read it. And they're going to say, why did Jackie say that this was crap? So one again is realizing you're in an adversarial environment and steeling yourself mentally against that. Know who your friends are, because there are plenty of people that you know and that you know from your professional works that are out there, and realize that they can also get taken in by disinformation.
Well, there you go.
God.
Amen.
Yeah.
Madam President.
Yeah.
No,
She gets it, man.
Jackie's awesome. You know, she's been, you know, really actually paying attention to a whole lot of different things, and she's been a great friend, and she's also just knows her shit upside and down. So
When she said know who your friends are, I really gave it a pause, because in this type of work, it's a really small. My world in particular has shrunk. You know, it's just the nature of the business. On the other hand, every day I'm talking to somebody else and getting a call from somebody else who is getting it, particularly as they are watching the attacks. And all of a sudden, a light bulb goes on going, what if all you're doing is attacking their little podcast? Then what are you really doing? Are you doing the work of democracy? Probably not. And then that has then increased interest in what we do. And that's when people start really putting it together. And I'm very, very grateful, because when I got into this 7 years ago, I always thought if it's just one person at a time, that's cool. Just like a light bulb, one at a time is fine. I don't feel that way so much anymore. I would like to have dozens of people getting it at one time. And I think we're on our way there. So I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Sure. The growth has to be exponential, right? One person has to get it. They have to tell it to two people. Those two people have to tell it to two more people a piece. And it has to continue like that. Otherwise, we're never going to win. And it has to happen quickly, because the other side is still out there recruiting and brainwashing people and drawing people into their cults.
I understand why the opposition would try to attack Substack at this point, because the exponential growth is occurring there, because the people who read me read, pretty much that same dozen people. Together, we are thousands, tens of thousands of people, all marching in the same direction. We all have our different areas of expertise, but we are building the awareness of what's happening. And so I find it to be very interesting that a bullshit,
Can I say something about this?
I think you should.
Okay, so yes, Substack. Now, the reason I'm on Substack is because a whole shitload of internet terrorists figured out how to get me banned
from Twitter.
And I was banned for a year. So I almost quit, because I'd been doing this shit for a year and a half, and 40,000 tweets, and just a huge amount of work was disappeared all at once. But I started rebuilding on there, and yesterday I crossed 5,000 subscribers, which is not a huge amount, but considering, and I promise you this, the amount of effort that has gone into keeping that number as low as possible is unbelievable. Yeah. It's unbelievable what these fuckers are doing. And I'm going to just briefly describe something that happened recently. And I'm not going to use anybody's names because I don't want to give them the attention. But my Substack, speaking of Substacks, got a blurb in a giant incoherent article posted by the ADL
Yeah.
about all these terrible Substacks and the anti-Semitic and extremist Substacks, and some of them were.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Guess what? How did it end up there? How did my fucking Substack with it's like the talking points from my hate cult were put in this article about my Substack. It's unbelievable. It's like hippies, lie. I mean, it's crazy. And the reason is because the same fucking people, and I'm saying this right to your face, the same digital soldiers who've been protecting Mike Flynn and QAnon and the Russians since I started this, they're the ones who fucking put it there. They admitted it. They're happy about it. They're proud of it. They're like, what do you do? And then there's 150 little trolls that were just fucking made yesterday. They're like, look. It's so outlandish and so insane and so crazy. It's almost funny. But wake up one morning and have your work.
Yeah.
Like a million words maybe that I've written. Like many of them hard work to be included in there. When I'm half Jewish and all I do is fucking fight Nazis, like fuck you. It's not funny. It's not trolling. It's not any of that shit. It's weaponizing anti-Semitism.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to me. Weaponizing anti-Semitism is anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm.
When you accuse somebody knowingly of being anti-Semitic or put that slur on them, that is an anti-Semitic act. So I'm just here to say that whole thing is a very, very disturbing and harmful operation that is also just hilarious because what the fuck? Anyway.
Well, I do think that this 2023 going into 2024, we are going to see an escalation of this type of active measures like we've never seen before. And it, to me, I finally understand why Western leaders do not get up and say we are target nations of cognitive warfare, thanks to President Jackie Singh. I finally understand it. I guess there are, examples of us doing it too, and maybe they don't want the scrutiny. But by now, when 30 million people are lost in Yonkers somewhere in their minds because of people who've, intentionally try to radicalize and distort their thinking, we got to do something. We can't just let this happen, hit after hit. We are not isolated in being under siege. Wherever we look, there is somebody else who's doing good work, who has full-time hate terrorists dedicated to them. It's cheap labor, and you don't have to be that clever. High five.
I'm a job creator.
My turn.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Is this going to be about Christopher Meloni's ass again?
No. No.
He does have a nice ass.
No, it will be about a whole bunch of different asses. Specifically, somebody in the comments asked, what is the Anti-Defamation League, or ADL? The ADL was started in 1913 specifically to address the rise of anti-Semitism across the United States and in Europe post-World War I.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And what has happened recently, this attack against Jim, that is one. I give you one amber flashing light on a server, right? Mm-hmm. Second flashing light is the president of the ADL, Jonathan Greenblatt, once praised Elon Musk by comparing him to Henry Ford. Henry Ford was a large supporter of the Nazis and anti-Semitism. The third item I would like to point out, the third flashing warning light on the Anti-Defamation League, is that when about a year and a half back, I was pointing out, and other people were pointing out, that PayPal was providing money laundering and money transfer services and crypto services, etc., to white supremacists and white nationalists through their financial engine. You know, PayPal dropped Give, Send, Go, and who swooped in to trust wash PayPal and say, oh, we'll help them not give money to fascists? Why, the Anti-Defamation League. So I give you not one, not two, but three blinking amber lights on the organization known as the Anti-Defamation League. You can call me anti-Semitic if you wish, but I remind everyone that I too have Jews in my family, and that just doesn't fucking fly.
Look, there are some. The ADL has taken some very extreme positions on some things, and and all of that, and that is their right. At its core, I could not fucking agree more with the ADL. That's why it's so goddamn shocking. Like, of course, like, anti-Semitism is the root of this shit and has been for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and it's still going on. So the mission is great, but if you're spreading propaganda about people who fight Nazis and protecting, by the way, one of the most deeply anti-Semitic people on planet Earth, named Mike Flynn, which is what this thing was. It literally says, he writes about Mike Flynn being Q, and ADL can find no evidence. And I'm like, first of all,
there's a lot of generals they could ask.
About who Q is, really. Second of all, you're just fucking wrong. I've got millions of words, literally millions of words proving it. So it's just a very, very strange situation. I don't have any problem with the ADL. No, like, it's always been something that I wish I had the money to fucking donate to. You know what I mean?
My concern is even having to use these words or defend yourself in this way. It smells a lot like Russian propaganda, where it's always projection. It's always projection. So even having to say, no, that's not me, you end up having to use these words, and it is total propaganda. And speaking of which, I have a great quote from Ruth about propaganda. I think it's incredibly important that people, first of all, as you know, I hate the word. It doesn't serve our purposes in 2023. But propaganda is never just words. That's like rule number one, okay? And it goes beyond lying. It is a system of organizing belief so people come to see the world in ways that benefit the leader and his party. So propaganda is never just words. And that has been our failing in the last 7 years as we try to deal with cognitive warfare.
Yes. Propaganda is a tool of psychological operations, right? Propaganda isn't anything by itself, really. You can define it as, white propaganda, gray propaganda, black propaganda. There's definitions for it and all of that. But at the end of the day, it's just misinformation for the purpose of coercively changing people's minds, right? Coercively being the key point. And that can happen through repetition, insulation, social dynamics, trauma, all of those things together is usually what it is. And the propaganda turns to psyops. It turns to something that literally changes people's brains, which is why Aunt Melba is acting like a crazy death cult member. Because it's not leaflets, for fuck's sake. It's weapons. It's weapons of mental destruction. And we have to start talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. We do. Well, I think also what we have to start talking about is why we are so afraid to make big moves, because as we see the fascist moves that were made this week, and I'm not using that word lightly, In Florida, we saw the exercise of fascism. In Tennessee, we're seeing it. In Kansas, we just saw it. So why are we unwilling to stand up to it and go on offense? I think we know enough about our Supreme Court justices who've been disgraced. I think we know enough about Clarence Thomas, for example. I think we know enough that we should not have lifetime appointments of people who do not deserve to be wearing that robe. He's got a wife who's an insurrectionist and 20 years of palling around, with extremist billionaires. I think we know enough, and we have an illegitimate president who is, who's been arrested. And if you read the statement of facts, you'll find out that he is a pig, and that is not to be disrespectful to the animals, because I'm sure pigs are decent and lovely. But I'm saying, like, why would we just roll over and say, oh, well, we've got 3, lifetime of judges appointed by an illegitimate president, and we're just stuck with it? No. We gotta make big, bold moves again. What are we doing? I don't understand why we just are an acceptance. Mitch McConnell stole a judge away from President Obama, and we just rolled. We had Hillary Clinton had her election stolen, and we just rolled. And now we're stuck with, justices on the Supreme Court who are not worthy of the robe. No. Hi-fi.
I have a big, bold move that could be played. And that big, bold move would be that the members of the House of Representatives who engaged in insurrection should be arrested and charged for their role. If we did something like that, well.
Yeah.
I have something to say to my liberal friends. I'm a liberal. I'm about as fucking shit lib as it gets, right? 100%. But liberals are also pussies, and I'm going to say that because I don't say it on Twitter, but I'm going to say it here. Like, fucking suit up, for God's sake. Every time I say a thing about the Biden administration or the president, like, please do better, hurry up, any of that, I get a bunch of fucking asshats coming at me like, ooh, well, he tweeted about it already, or ooh, he fucking put his statement out. Like, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in getting up in front of the fucking cameras, a bunch of them, and making a goddamn statement, and then some actual action, some things. Fucking, I don't know, you're the goddamn president. You have some power. Use it. And I'm not going to be afraid to say that. I voted for Joe Biden. I will vote for Joe Biden again. But get off my ass if I'm going to yell a little bit. I need to tell you something. The only way any of this works is public pressure. Period. Ever. You can't get anything done without public pressure at all. Ever. So stop bugging me about kicking Joe in the ass every once in a while. Calm down. Sorry, that was a joke, that last one. I hate it when people tell me to calm down. It's the worst. It's like, no.
They rarely say it to men. Women get it all the time, and it's for me.
They tell me that shit all the time.
For me, it's a signal of poor breeding.
Jim, calm down.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, you're lucky you're in a different state. That might have been the first time I had to break up a fight between the two of yous.
No.
Oh my God.
What fight?
It's resorting to the Three Stooges.
Are we fighting?
No.
I didn't realize.
No. So another.
I missed something.
It was just me being a smart ass. I'm probably high or something.
Are you too high to play? Are you too high to play another clip, hi-fi?
No, I think I could do that. Hey, let's play the one about. Let's play the one about when Jackie talks about Mike Flynn, because that was funny. I liked that part. Let's play that.
I can only imagine that the Russians were falling over themselves with happiness when, you know, Mike Flynn fell into their lap. I just can't. I can't imagine how freaking happy they were.
Yeah. It just gets funnier every time I watch it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Listen, so Mike Flynn went to GRU headquarters. Reports vary that he went there supposedly for a 4-day leadership seminar, but I've also heard incredible reports that he was like gone for 2 weeks, basically. And when you go to GRU headquarters, the place where all they do is fucking psyop people, you're not going to come out the other end of it the same person. You simply aren't. He was compromised before he got there, but 2013 in June, by the way, speaking of Jackie Singh, when Michael Hastings died in a one-car crash, which Jackie wrote about, that was also at the same exact time.
So I have a very serious question. I have a very serious question for you.
Hit it.
Why do you think nothing's been done when it is so clear that we have a radicalization problem, and it's so clear that we have a multi-fired, disgraced general as a leader of, you know, if not the orchestrator, plotter of the insurrection, then certainly a key, member of that. Why do you guys think that nothing's been done and that we just scream about it every single day and that there's this huge cabal that tries to get us to shut up about it? Why do you think that? You're being
I know this.
You're being retweeted by 4-star generals. We have another general who's gone on camera to say he needs to be brought back up, charged, brought to trial. He basically straight up, the other general from the
Patriot General Paul Eaton.
Yeah, Paul Eaton. We should find that clip again. And so I'm just saying, like there is enough there. And yes, he got pardoned fraud by the illegitimate president, but why?
I can answer this one, actually, if you'd like me to. So what we are facing, okay, first, when it comes to the January 6th insurrection, is Michael Flynn is the military head. He is the tactics and strategy, the planning military guy of the insurrection. You also have the finance people of the insurrection, and those are people like, Robert Mercer, Peter Thiel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the way down to Ginny Thomas, who got
heiress.
Public heirs, all these people. That's your finance section. So you got your finance, they've got a lot of clout because they're billionaires. You got your military, that's the on the ground people, right? And then you have your like psyops off in the background, which are also working with Michael Flynn, and that includes people like Paul Vallely, Jack Singlaub was in on this, people in Shafley's Eagles, like Ed Martin. It's a whole
Eric Prince.
Eric Prince. We are facing a modern day business plot, and the modern day business plot is just part of the bigger conflict, which is the cognitive warfare and in Ukraine, the kinetic warfare of World War III.
Liberal democracy versus autocracy. So you're saying it is so widespread and the network is so vast and so corrupted and ingrained that is why nothing's being done. Like, that's not acceptable.
It's not acceptable, but it's true, right? It's why is Palantir all up in our government? I mean, first of all, Donald Trump got indicted. Was that yesterday or 2 days ago? I can't even fucking remember.
Tuesday.
He got indicted 50, and the great Sarah Kendzior pointed this out, literally like on basically the 50-year anniversary of the DOJ and like announcing they were investigating Donald Trump. 50 fucking years ago. I'm going to say this.
Hi-Fi wasn't even born yet.
I'm going to say this one more time. 50 years ago, the DOJ announced that they were investigating Donald Trump for crimes. 50 fucking years. So this goes back to what I said before. When you tell me to calm down, when you tell me to not poke at fucking the administration and especially the military for dereliction of duty and leaving these fucking people with stars on their chest, you know, you're spending your energy in the wrong place. There's lots and lots of places to spend your energy. Frankly, that's a dumb.
So we have Fox News playing on military bases. So that's still happening. We had a director of the FBI going on Fox News, which has been revealed to be nothing more than essentially Kremlin-friendly propaganda, certainly not doing anything good for America. So he goes on there to reputation wash and spread some more propaganda. So, like, what do we have to do in order to defend our imperfect democracy? We have a president right now who seems to be on the side of democracy. What do we have to do to start pulling out the roots and getting rid of the corruption with a capital C? Like, you know, David Pepper's coming on a Betty Dangerous Zoom on Sunday to tell us a lot of what we need to do. Going on offense, number one, rooting out bad players, number two. Merrick Garland did say that this is the biggest, most wide-ranging investigation that the Department of Justice has ever undertaken. So, you know, I hope that Jack Smith is as much of a badass as I think he is. But I see your frustration with January 6th because the focus was on Trump and the focus was not on Flynn and Stone and these other bad actors.
Bannon's still fucking roaming.
But think about it. Like, these guys were on their way to some sort of club fed when Trump pardoned them. So I don't think that means they get a pass for life, right? I have to believe that there are people still within our intelligence agencies and
forward-looking pardons. Even if Donald Trump could have pardoned people for crimes they haven't committed yet, he would have. I'm pretty sure, if I recall, he asked the White House lawyers about that and came up empty. But he did everything else. He pardoned. I mean, he didn't even pardon Flynn for crimes, and guess why? Because Barr already got Flynn off.
Yeah.
Flynn confessed twice to lying. She was going to cooperate with the DOJ, and then Flynn hired Sidney Powell with QAnon money.
Right.
And Sidney Powell talked to Bill Barr, who figured out together that, oh, after all, this whole thing about Mike Flynn lying to the Russians, to the FBI about the Russians on tape. Like, it's the same fucking people doing the same fucking thing. You know, Bill Barr has been doing it since before Iran-Contra.
He's a fixer. He's a fixer. He's a fixer.
He was the fixer for Iran-Contra.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jack Singlaw, we're talking about the 80s and Reagan and Bush 1, right?
And Bill Casey.
So, okay. So,
sorry.
All right. So I'm a big believer that most of these issues can be solved. And I'm a huge believer in taking half a day to figure out what to do. And I know we are often telling people that one of the ways that you can stop the radicalization sludge being fed into people's brains is by looking at some of the options. One of them would be to turn off Telegram. You've said that repeatedly. Like, there are many things that we could do to actually immediately have an impact on our myriad problems. And I just have to believe that there are people in our intelligence agencies and our Department of Justice who still give a shit about liberal democracy and don't want to just hand over our country to Vladimir Putin. I have to believe that. So
Sure, there are plenty of them. It's just do the ones that feel that way have the power to do anything about it, right?
I was thinking about that. I was
I mean,
thinking
it's
about
I just want to say it's all of this stuff is based on fear, right? The reason why people don't speak up about these things, but in the government, in the press, on social media, is because they're afraid of the consequences, right? And you know, I come back to this example for the reason why that it's always relevant. Russia, Russia, Russia. To this day, if you say it, even though everything keeps getting proven about Russia, 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 you get attacked, and people are still afraid to talk about it because they know what's coming. It's literally a training process, right? You train people not to talk about certain things because if you don't, you get slapped on the nose with the fucking newspaper. It's
well,
like it's
it's
basically that, right?
it's
I'm almost done. It's a numbers game. This is about numbers. Psychological operations are about saturating people's minds with material that is going to change their mind. It's just about reducing the amount of poison going into the body politic. It's that fucking simple, which is why they go so crazy about free speech and, oh my God, you can't come after, you can't come after any of my shit except for TikTok, you can fucking do that because it's Chinese, right? Like, it's very, very clear what's happening here. There's poison being, if it was a fucking, like oil spill or a chemical leak from a tanker, for example, or, something tangible or physical, we would do something about it, right? They even started doing something about the lead in the pipes in Flint, right? This is lead in the pipes of every single person who is connected to social media. It's designed to radicalize you and instupid you. You are being instupided. Sorry, I couldn't think of a fucking word.
I love it,
I just coined it right on the spot.
We have an anagram whisperer who's, I'm sure, watching. We
Anyway,
need an anagram with
I'll land this plane.
Yeah, land it, brah.
This whole thing is right in front of us. The simple thing we can do is stop poisoning people, right? So from that, you can build your goals, right? Telegram, like, is it just a fucking enormous problem? Truth Social, it's just QAnon. It's fucking QAnon. That's all Truth Social is, literally. It's just a whole QAnon thing, but millions of people. All day long, that's all they fucking do. Same thing with Telegram. You take that out of people's hands that are addicted to it, that are like immersed in those chamber of horrors, and they're just hundreds of them. You can go into all these different chambers and get fucking horrified and sucked into their bullshit. And all we need to do is get the. I'm not saying you can shut these things down. I am not in favor of those things, but I am saying Apple and Google are American companies and should not be giving easy access to these things.
Oh, at least deplatform Steve Bannon. Like, he's just out there floating every, radicalization, narrative he can.
It's everywhere, right? And so my only point is, in terms of, to your point, what do we do? What are the goals? What is the action? How do we fix it?
Yeah.
Reduce the amount of poison. You got to shut down these giant sources of it, right? And all of us got to be way louder to counteract the bullshit that they do. Like all I fucking do all day long basically is counteract disinformation, right? And so all of us need to get involved in that. You're not everybody's a crazy motherfucker like me or hi, but you know, do your part. Thank you
Hey,
for coming to my long angry TED talk.
thank you for that, Jim. Yes, hi-fi.
I would just like to say that I'm actually not totally opposed to the misinformation because apparently, according to our detractors and our haters, me, hi-fi, I am a super hacker, savvy operator, terrorist with bomb making skills, according to our haters. I know. I am fucking international man of mystery up in this shit.
No, but you're also a low life loser who can't get a job or do anything right in his entire life. That's the fun part. Like me, I'm
What?
both a complete like homeless.
No, you're a
loser
Chinese Israeli
and,
spy.
what's that?
Oh man.
We're all
you're
Israeli spies.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
I thought I was anti-Semitic. How can I be an Israeli spy and anti-Semitic though?
Oh, no, according to Chucklecock, I won't say his name. There's the Jews are anti-Semitic,
What?
or at least a bunch of that's the thing. Like there's certain Jews who agree that the Holocaust, like I mean, it's a whole.
Anyway. You won't hear me saying anything that gives any air to any of these people. Like none of it. It's all bad.
I feel okay saying Chucklecock.
Okay. I did want to thank you, Jim, and our friend Brent Allpress for letting me post that letter that he wrote a few months ago. I thought it was an important document.
I did that under protest, but I appreciated it very much.
Thank you. And I know the reason you finally allowed it is you did that for me, and I appreciate that. Because I get tired of hearing the abusers play victim. And Brent does a very great job in the letter that he wrote, explaining that that's just projection. That those who abuse, who then try to play victim when the person who is being targeted actually defends himself. That's just
it's a thing called Darvo.
Yes, right, Darvo. Yeah. Why don't you tell people who don't know what that means?
Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. So basically you think Swift voting, right?
Yeah, Swift voting.
They took his strength and they attacked him with it.
Yeah.
Right? Or I have people humans, real people who for 30 months have been focused on me, on just destroying me. And they run around calling me a stalker.
Yeah.
So the Darvo is strong, right? Like that's the whole game, is to abuse people and then label them the abuser.
So
anti-Semitism is a version of that same thing.
Yeah.
I'm not equating this, but it's blaming someone for something that they didn't do when they're actually the ones being victimized.
As hard as it is to do this work, I can't imagine doing anything else that's more important in this dark hour. And I must just speak to the silent, because I know that you're out there. Get off your fucking ass. Like seriously, so many people have children too. We three and our allies, we can't do it all. You've got to get off your ass and stop being silent and stop not caring. Did you see what happened in Tennessee and Kansas and in Florida this week? because that's like coming to everyone's block if we don't get the
We're not
silence
yelling at the
to
viewers.
participate.
The viewers, we know our viewers do these things, and we're grateful for you. We're yelling. I'm sorry, I don't mean to speak for you, Heidi, but
Oh
we're yelling.
no.
We're yelling at these fucking like weak, cheap, big influencer accounts that are too afraid to like get into it and actually tell the truth.
Everybody's got to get into it. Everybody's got to get into it. And of course, I'm not talking about our community. They've been our saving grace. I'm talking about people who've had their head buried in the sand, who have no interest in doing the labor of democracy and aren't voting and don't care. And I know it's scary. Like, I get it. Like, don't get into the trenches unless you know what you're doing, but be an ally, be supportive, support the work and get louder. I'm disheartened because we need to move mountains very quickly, and we need to do that with bigger numbers. And we have the numbers. We do. We saw what happened in Wisconsin. When you piss enough people off, when you take away the rights of women, you can actually get your shitty authoritarian right, anti-abortion candidate. You can kick his ass to the curb and put a decent progressive woman on the Supreme Court. So, take away enough rights, make people feel enough of it, and you can get people to mobilize. We need what happened in Wisconsin to be replicated throughout the country, and we need to do it now in 2023. We cannot wait till 2024. Every day is going to be chaos destabilization. Every day is going to be another shit show, another horrible, distraction from a weakened party that's trying to act bigger than they are. And we just need more people to fight alongside us in every community. What can I say?
Couldn't agree more. Fucking suit up, bitches. Come on.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's just annoying. Like what else do you need? Mm-hmm. They're literally lynching people, like in the most blatantly racist possible fucking way today. Mm-hmm. Stop sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, stop yelling at people who are, yelling at people. It's dumb. Mm-hmm. Cut it out. Get it out. We're all trying to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And actually, it's a lot of fun.
Actually,
it doesn't sound fun, but it really is. When you build the community, it's really fun.
Well, you got to also build the fucking shell, and that takes punishment, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
And there's a reason why people don't speak out, because they don't want to fucking go through it, right? You retweet me, and some asshole is almost like for certain going to come into your goddamn thread and spread some shit about whatever the fuck I am, right? And it's a pain in the ass, and some people don't want to do that, and that's okay. I don't give a shit. You don't have to retweet me, but retweet somebody else. Yeah. Just don't be a coward.
Yeah.
There's no room for cowards right now.
I think the point that I'm trying to make is that they're coming for everybody. They don't stop. They're coming for everybody. So you can either go on offense and join us in this fight now in whatever best suits your skill set, whether it's behind the scenes, whether you're willing to. I've noticed a lot of our allies are actually sticking their necks out more and more. They don't care. They're blocking and moving on. Twitter is not the only place that this war is being fought on. It just happens to be it happens to be the playing field that's been used by the activists and journalists most
Yeah.
prominently in the
I know
last
what they
7
can do.
years.
I know what they can do. Smash the like button.
Is that how we're ending
Data
the show?
Karaga, there you go.
No.
we're supposed
Hit
to
like and subscribe. Hit like and
like and
subscribe.
subscribe, bitches.
Turn on notifications. Follow us on Twitter.
Shoot up.
Send us to all your friends,
Put your
family,
notifications
relatives.
on. Like
But no, I
things.
need to end the.
My Substack is lit, as is Jim's. Two
I
things
need to
before
end
you
on a
end
personal
something.
note. Okay.
Before you end on the personal note, two things. I wrote about how we need a transfusion of love, and I'm going to keep on bringing that back because, again, this is a war on empathy and kindness. And so we all, as Jim always says, no one brainwashes themselves. And the way it works, it's designed to make people behave ugly. So we need to have a transfusion of love very quickly. And the last thing I want to say is that the media continues to do false equivalencies with day old McDonald Trump, who has now been reduced to a single digit grifter. And that's an article that I wrote. And I bring that up only because people are like, oh, he raised a couple million. It's like, yes, the big lie, he raised $250 million. So just realize that there's many, many metrics to look at to show just what day old McDonald he is. That's all I want to say about that. Okay, high five.
Donald High Five's going to go last. Donald Trump is toast.
Yeah.
He's toast in any actual political sense.
Mm-hmm.
He is being set up to be a martyr. He's going to be like, Jesus
Berlusconi.
or fucking, some old like person who's the martyr that we have to, have retribution for, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Donald Trump is going to be. He's got no power. He's got no ability to control anything. By the way, last thing. Notice when Donald Trump all by himself, with no backup from Mike Flynn or anybody else, went, protest, 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 come to New York. And guess who fucking showed up? Like one guy with a bag of McDonald's and a fucking boombox and was like, I'm here for Trump. And that was it.
You know who showed up?
Right?
You know who showed up? Michael Rappaport.
Oh,
Exactly. My new favorite person in the
Rappaport
world.
lit them up, man. It was
Rappaport. He is the new official spokesperson and greeter of the authoritarian rights when they enter New York City. I mean, the only thing that could have been better when I was reading the SOF was Rappaport's pig noises that he made in the background when he greeted both Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump. Thank you for that, Michael Rappaport. You freaking rule.
Like, there's no power there unless it's organized and funded, like January 6th was. Mm-hmm. That's why we could see that it was coming, right? Mm-hmm. They don't have the power unless we give it to them.
Mm-hmm. And the media seems to be addicted to it. Yeah, I agree. All right. Hi-fi and Z. What's up?
So, if anyone's watched my little interview that I did with Heidi, they know about something that happened to me. Part of what put me on the path to where we're going, right, is Sergey Grishin filed a DMCA against me to get me taken down off of Twitter the very first time. He was a Russian banker, supposedly stole $60 billion from the State Bank of Russia through Rosevro Bank. Heidi informed me today. I haven't been paying attention to him because I figured I chased him out of the country. But he had an agonizing death in Moscow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
was there a window?
No. He had some sort of weird
sepsis,
blood poisoning that got to his brain, and
that's weird.
yeah.
It's weird how and it was agonizing. It seems like.
So
What I would like to end on is just this note, right? I'm a big believer, and this has happened to me multiple times throughout my life. People who have done me wrong have met terrible, terrible ends. And this is just another one on a list of quite a few people. And I have a whole whiteboard full of fucking names.
Hi-Fi can kill people with the grudge. You can do it. You better watch out. You better watch out, motherfuckers.
all I know is that
Yeah, I recommend getting right with Hi-Fi.
Mr. Grisham makes 40, and Marty did a little bit of gave me a little bit of commentary on that, which I will be typing up forthwith when we are done here, because there's been 40 unusual deaths of the oligarch of the oligarch. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we are going to have a breaking news special one of these times that is going to do a deep dive into the Russian window industry and the incredibly just disgraceful record of safety that you know they've represented. You know, it's a disgrace to Russia, and they really, really need to do something about this.
And when we say deep dive, we're talking like 10 floors.
At least, well,
okay,
it really only takes 3. You know, really
yeah,
only takes 3.
Yeah.
Depends on what's below. You gotta calculate.
Stay tuned for our upcoming special on defenestrations. You know,
right. What is the correct formula of height versus landing material?
I wonder if there is a relationship between like how high you fall from as to how mad they are.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So
well, there is this thing, right? Like if people are drunk, they tend to survive car accidents more because they're all floppy and shit, and they don't like
they're pickled.
Nothing resists, so it's true. So I wonder if Russian oligarchs are relatively immune to getting defenestrated and have to be higher because they literally live on vodka. So.
Yeah, so do the generals. You can see it.
Yeah,
so do the propagandists.
If you work for Putin, I mean, how else do you survive?
Yeah,
there's no other way to survive.
Well, I was talking to LB about the other day about somebody needs to do a podcast called The Bodies Politic. That's all around all the dead bodies.
It's too grim. Too grim. Too grim.
I think it would be like a great, like a mysterious political deaths, like true crime kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, count me
out.
The
Body's politic. I like it.
I'm going to be writing about 40 of them tonight with Marty. So stay tuned for that.
Well, look at that. We just had like Brad Pod overtime. For the first
I know. I can't believe it.
I love it. I love it's
I like it too. There was a lot to talk about, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you blokes on over the weekend for the next illuminating episode of Radicalized Truth Survives. Do join us. We do want truth to survive. We don't want truth to be an endangered species. So,
I mean, just imagine what your life will be like if you don't. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to tell you. That's what we're trying to tell you.